For the band from Seaside. Good morning and happy holidays. My name is Keith Russell and I have the honor of making the announcements this morning. And holding the light for us this morning is practitioner Kathy Nelson. If you're not familiar with the practitioners here at Seaside, we have a core of over 50 practitioners who have studied for over 3 years to become licensed in scientific prayer. So if you ever need to speak with someone, the practitioners are identified by the green sashes around their neck. They can pray with you before or after the service. I invite you to utilize their services. Could I have that clip coming up, Marv? If you'd put your eyes up here and watch and listen, get in the rhythm. Little drum beat. Foot stomping out there. And that's it. For those of you who are not familiar, that's a film from last year's the winter solstice celebration here, which is going to be on the 21st next week. If you've never attended one of those, it's an absolutely wonderful affair. Last time there were over 200 people came. So if you're thinking about attending, I invite you to buy your tickets this week. You save $5 on the purchase of the ticket. You can come. You don't have to have your own drum. They have free drums there for you. It's a healing, it's a fun circle. There's going to be people doing gongs. There's going to be people doing the flutes. It's just an absolutely wonderful celebration. So I invite you to come on that day. It's 21st. There's a table out there and the tickets are on sale. Tell us that joke. That's what we're here for, is to have fun, right? Okay, in addition, you've been hearing about the work that we're doing with the Interfaith Shelter, and that begins today and runs for the following week. We still need volunteers, so if you're wondering how you can give back during the Christmas season, I invite you to stop at the Interfaith Shelter back there. They still need volunteers for this week. Little jobs is driving someone someplace or serving food, whatever the case might be. If you want to serve, that's a great way to do it. Holiday events. In your bulletin, there's a whole list of holiday events. There's an incredible amount of things going on, but one of the things that we like to invite you to do this week, next week, is we have a Toys for Tots collection. We have collections for the Community Resource Center, and for those of you who don't want to go out and buy gifts, there are coupons back there. They're $10, and it's called Blanket Bucks. And what you do, you give $10, and that's put toward buying blankets for the homeless right here in the community. Today, I don't know whether it's this week and one more week of sale of the Seaside cookbooks. They've been reduced from $25 to $20 if you're looking for that perfect Christmas gift. Cookbooks are wonderful. And also we have 3 handmade aprons that someone has contributed that are also available. Buy 3 cookbooks, buy an apron half price. I just said that. I don't know whether you want to do it or not. They didn't hear me apparently back there. And that's about it. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite you to all stand up, say hi, happy holidays to your neighbor, and stay standing for the congregational song. like to invite you to sit down just one more time. I got you. Now that I've got you all excited, I'd like to invite Callie Sorensen up to tell you about one of the most exciting events that's scheduled this year. Please give me a hand, Miss Callie Sorensen.
Okay, there's a recovery. All is well. Good morning. Good morning. Now that your adrenaline is all rushed, I have a vision of a new way to do the holidays. What if it wasn't about consumption? And what if it wasn't about shopping, spending, and buying? What if it was about efficiency and having enough? And what if it was about caring connections and sharing of resources? I think we need a new dream, a new way of doing holidays that isn't about consumption. Time magazine calls collaborative consumption one of the top 10 ways to change the world. And as a person who was a professional shopper for a living for 30 years, I think there's a new way. There's a new way to do it. So I wanted the women to get together in Seaside Sisterhood fashion, as we normally do. But I wanted it to be with a purpose, about sharing resources. And the gifting economy is about gifting from your heart. It's not about just getting rid of things that you don't need or want. It's about having something that is like, wow, I don't need this anymore, but I know somebody would love it. I personally have some linen tablecloths that was a gift from my grandmother that I have cherished but never used. And there's no reason for that where somebody would just adore it and adore the story that goes with it. So Care to Share was birthed out of this. And it's in a way that we can share our resources and things we have, beautiful items. It's about fashion decor for the home this time. And it's about the little trinkets that mean something, that are beautiful and well-shaped and will likely be valued by somebody else. And then about coming together because your presence is the present. And sharing that, no money. It's not about raising money. It's not about monetary gain. It's not about stealing presents from other people for personal gain. It's about really, from the heart, giving. It's a gifting economy. We're going to set up a boutique. We're going to have refreshments. And in the spirit of giving and receiving, we want to take it to a new level of what a prosperity consciousness is really about, where enough is enough. So come and join us for this holiday spirit. You don't have to bring anything. You don't have to donate anything, although we would love that too. Just come. Come and be with us. I know there's a treasure waiting for you. Thank you.
And in case you didn't get that date, it's next Saturday from 2 to 5, Callie? From 2 to 5. It's for the women. It's the sisters putting out. For those of you men who want something, on the fourth Sunday of each month, we have the Men's Breakfast Club. All right, now I would like to invite you to stand and for the congregational song. Can we do that?
Why not?
Well, come on, let's stand up. Come on out. Hey, I'm 74.
You guys know this one. Want you all to sing out loud in honor of this holiday spirit. Here we go. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la, la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la, la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in
And good morning, Seaside. Oh, what a joy it is to be here with you in this fun, festive time. The winter is upon us. Finally felt like it last night, so that was a lot of fun. But I got to tell you, when I hear that song, Deck the Halls, I can't help but to think of our candlelight service here and all the guys up on the stage singing Boston Charlie. So if you haven't had that kind of experience, you are in for I don't know if treat's the right word. You're in for an experience on the 23rd at the candlelight service. It's totally unique. It's totally Seaside. You'll find it nowhere else. So it will be a memorable moment in the evening. But anyway, hey, if you're here for the first time, welcome to Seaside. Your presence makes a difference. We are glad that you are here. Seaside is a place that is about love. It is caring. It is compassion. It is supporting one on their spiritual journey wherever you may be. So your presence makes a difference. And we believe here that it's Spirit first in all things. And so to take us to a little bit deeper place is a wonderful, masterful practitioner, and that is Sharon De Leon.
So just close your eyes and join me into the stillness. So I take a breath. And I let go. I let go of all of the busyness in my mind. I let go of all that activity. I let go and I let God. I take another breath. I just let go. I let go of all that efforting, that leaning forward, and I become present and open to receive. And so it's in this place of receptivity that I can begin to remember. I can begin to recognize that there is a power, a presence at the very center of my life, the very center of all of life, for it is life itself. And I know that I am one with this power, this presence, that the Father and I are one. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for each one here, that each one here is one with the Father, never separate, never alone. And I can begin to remember again who I am. And I can begin to know and to open. I begin to remember that everything that I need, anything that anyone ever needs, has already been given. For it is Spirit's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, so it is already here. So I know that the activity that takes place right here, right now, is an ability to receive, to allow, and to open. And so I begin to open to this day. I begin to open to the blessings of this community called Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. I open to the blessings of each word, each note, each heart, each light that I encounter today. I am open to receive all the good, all the love, all the light, and all is well. And so it is.
and grace, love overflowing, joy in this place. Spirit is showing blessings and grace. Mind, body, soul, and I am one with God. Blessings and grace, love overflowing, joy in this place. Spirit is showing blessings and grace. Mind, body, soul, and I am one with God. Blessings and grace, love overflowing, joy in this place. Spirit is showing blessings and grace. Mind, body, soul, and I am one with God.
Thank you, Rebecca Jade and Lynn Willard, for singing and playing us in so beautifully, and Master Practitioner Sharon DeLeon for praying us in so beautifully on this gorgeous holiday season day. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Reverend Christina Tillotson, and it's my honor to again welcome you all, especially those of you who are new to Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, to this beautiful day where we're sharing the light of love and joy with each other. And thank you for being here. If you're new, there's a packet for you in the table as you go out to show you how grateful we are for your being here. There's all kinds of goodies you can get in the bookstore. And just know that as you come together here at Seaside, we're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, whose mission is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And that's what, for a world that works for everyone, and that's what this whole season is about. Waking us to this spiritual magnificence, whether we call it that Christ light of the awareness of God within us, or the Buddha consciousness, or the Tao, whatever it is we call it. It's that light within us that we celebrate this time of year. So thank you so much for being here today. And we have so many ways of allowing you to shine your light here at Seaside. Right after this service here at 12:30, the Wellness Support Group will be meeting as we support each other in our wellness throughout the holidays. And some of you may know I'm in charge of the holiday ministry here. And I'm really excited because on Christmas Day, in a week and a half, we are going to have our very first Christmas Day service here at Seaside. For the past many years, I've been leading the service at my mom's Methodist assisted living facility in Ohio, and since she made her transition, I don't get to do that anymore, so now I get to do a service here at Seaside. And so it'll be our... So we'll see how it goes. So if people come at noon, on Christmas Day, it's only going to be 45 minutes. It's going to be a carol sing-along with Carrie Powell's leading the carols, and I'm going to do a metaphysical interpretation of the traditional carols. So come along and see how it goes. And then we have our annual Christmas Day potluck in the family room at 1 o'clock. So please sign up. We need volunteers. Please sign up at the holiday table back there. It's going to be a wonderful way to not only celebrate Christmas with us together, but in the community. For the first time ever, thanks to Vivian Chandler, we are having a professional Santa at 2 o'clock. So if you know any kids, bring them, because it's going to be a really, really special Christmas Day here at Seaside. And if you know people who want to serve on Christmas Day, I know that Brother Bino's and Father Joe's are probably full of volunteers, so send them over here. If my housekeeper, who's a Catholic, has 2 teenagers who want to experience the joy and the giving of the holiday season, so she's going to send them here to volunteer on Christmas Day with us. So who knows where they're all going to come from. So please join us in sharing your light with us. And to share her light as a testimonial for the light of the Seaside Sisters sharing and caring, I invite Diane Frost to come on up.
Good morning, everybody. So I had the pleasure and joy of experiencing what this Seaside Sisters repurposing, gifting, what the effect is for somebody like me, like all of you. And I went to the Harvest Festival last month. I was walking around looking at all the beautiful crafts that people made. I came to the Seaside Sisters table, and I was looking at things, and I picked up this glittery shawl, and Callie was there, and she said, "Do you like that?" And I said, "Oh yeah, it's beautiful. How much is it?" And she said, no, this is for you. This is a gift. This is from the heart. There's no price for this. And I was really surprised. I mean, I had no idea. I thought I had to purchase this. And it touched me in a deep way, an unexpected way, because it just seemed to come from nowhere, a gift from the universe, a gift from the divine, a gift of overflowing bounty and unconditional love and generosity came to me out of nowhere. And I welled up and actually started crying, which is unusual for me. I'm not a real emotional person, but it was such a deep effect to just receive out of nowhere this beautiful gift. Callie put it in my hand and said some words, loving words about, the purpose and intent of the Seaside Sisters for this, and said, Seaside Sisters have got your back, and they do, and the Divine Feminine has my back, and life has my back. And the effect for me, even though it wasn't intended that way, is that later that day I felt an abundance of generosity, and it came pouring out in other ways, and I gave to other causes, and it just keeps going around. So I hope that you'll join in on the fun and come next Saturday at 2 and participate. And even if you can't come, like Callie said, find something beautiful and special, a little household item, and donate it under the table there in the family room anytime this week, and give it to somebody else. Bring joy like I experienced. Thank you.
Oh, what a light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I pray, just a reminder that the last event of the holiday ministry for the year will be the Seaside Burning Bowl ceremony on New Year's Eve, where we actually write down what we want to let go of, go outside and burn it, and then come back and set our intentions for the year in spiritual community. It's a big, huge community-wide event. Do need a couple of volunteers to make sure we don't burn down the church. So please come. We'll share our light in different ways. So let's go into prayer with that joy and that light, just tuning within to that light and that love and that joy of spirit. I call it God, but it doesn't matter whether it's called Adonai or the Force or the Tao or nature, or as Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, said, Snookum Doodles. It doesn't matter what it's called. It's that light, that love, that presence, that power of creation and wisdom and light and love that continues to create all of creation out of itself, from the tiniest atom to the farthest galaxy. It is all God, it is all light, it is all love. And that is who I am right here and right now, and each beautiful spirit here is. That light and that love and that wisdom and that brilliance of spirit right here and right now in this sacred place and time. Sitting here in the Seaside Sanctuary, expressions of that light and that love of God right here and right now. So I am knowing out of this sacred time together that light that is the truth of each being here as God in form just flows, not only wells up into each person's body, mind, and spirit, but out into the Seaside community, out to this community of Encinitas and this state and this country and this world and this universe and all the parallel universes. It is all light, it is all love, and it just continues to flow out from Seaside, surrounding the whole universe into that light of love of God. And so for this light, for this love, for this brilliance of spirit that is the truth of this sacred time together, I am so, so, so grateful as I release this word to the law, absolutely knowing that it is now done in perfect light and love and joy. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, Seaside. All right. Happy holidays. Aren't we excited? It is my honor to introduce our guest artist for today. We've seen them here before. They're a fantastic, dynamic duo. And I wanted to also inform you all, if you ever make it down into San Diego, kind of by Hillcrest, there's a fun place called Martini's Above 4th. They're there every Friday night. So if you happen to be down there and want to go catch some awesome music, check them out over there. So anyway, without further ado, please give a nice warm welcome to Nathan Fry and Janice Edwards.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Merry Christmas! Yeah!
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King, yeah. Let every heart prepare him room. Heaven and nature sing, heaven and nature sing. Nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ. Wild fields and plains, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Singing joy to the world. Open up your heart this Christmas. Sing joy to the world. Oh, yeah. Wonders of his love, wonders of his love, wonders of his love, singing joy to the world. Open up your heart this Christmas, sing joy to the world. Celebrate with love this Christmas, sing joy to the world.
That is Janice Edwards and Nathan Fry. Oh my goodness, I've never been in a place where we're on our feet singing Joy to the World. You guys rock that one. That's fabulous. Janice and Nathan. Woo! I gotta tell you, if there was a love and a new light and just that kind of essence going on in the world, I'd be on my feet all the time too. That is just a fabulous, fabulous kind of experience for sure. And so this morning's my message is, that kind of looks like me, doesn't it? Like, there are. Hey, let your light shine. I love talking about the light. And, let your light shine. And when I talk about the light, I can't help but to think of a story I know I've shared with you many times around this this time of the year. But it's about the lamplighter. In those olden days, before there was power lines and electric lines, there were these gas lights, gas lamp district, right? But the only way you could light that is there was a profession called lamplighter, and he would take his ladder out at dusk and put it up on that lamp post and climb on up, light that gas lamp, climb on down, take his ladder, walk on down the block to the next one, put his ladder up there, climb on up, light that light, climb down, walk on. And they say, because I wasn't there, at least in this lifetime that I can remember, that you could see the light going all the way down the street, and could no longer see the person, but you would just see the light going on, and a light going on, and a light going on. That is the power, the light. It's not so much the person that's involved with it, and a lot of times we get caught up in the whole stories, it's the person. It's the light that makes the difference in this world in which we walk. And if that guy forgot, I think, imagine that guy forgot to work that day, or he had something else come on up. It's like, it's just not, it wouldn't happen. But in our life, if you're so busy doing what you're doing and it's not what you came here to do, you can't do what you came here to do if you're busy doing what you didn't come here to do. I got all tongue twisted on that one. You should have seen my head dancing in there. But, you can't do what you came here to do if you're busy doing what you didn't come here to do. Is that right? Is that clear? Okay. How often do we get sidetracked in our life doing what we didn't come here to do? You can't shine your light if you're off doing something else. You came here with a light, with a passion, with a purpose, with a dharma, with something, and that is how you let your light shine in the world. Robert Browning said, your aspirations are your possibilities, right? Like say, your dreams or your visions, let that be your prayers. Let that be your prayer request, that aspiration. That's something that is stirring in your soul, because that which is stirring in your soul is the gift that you've been given, that light that you've been given to bring here. It's in you. We got a big football game going on in town this week. And so I'm sure that's where a lot of people are watching it at home. You could always watch these podcasts, live stream. But anyway, I don't usually talk sports, but this was just too good to miss, because like a while back, there was this great quarterback by the name of Archie Manning. And he led the New Orleans Saints for more than a decade. He was truly one of the greats. And to become a football player in the NFL, it's like a 1 in a million shot. And to become a quarterback, if there's 30 teams, it's like 1 in 10 million. I don't know if those statistics are right. I'm making it up, but it sounds good. It's a long shot to become a quarterback. And who could even begin to imagine that his kid, Peyton Manning, would become arguably the greatest quarterback in all of football history, playing here? Oh, quiet. Go back to Denver. I'm sorry, Victoria. I take that back. It slipped. But anyway, just to imagine that his son would become one of the greatest quarterbacks is amazing. But then to think that he has a brother who's won 2 Super Bowls at a quarterback. I mean, there's 3 quarterbacks there in one family, and it just kind of sticks to my thinking, like father, like son. It's kind of, they got the football in the genes. It's the football DNA. It's like passed on. And the reason I got carried away with that story is because I want you to know that I know who your father is. I know who your heavenly Father, Mother, God is. And I know what is in your genes. I know what is in your spiritual DNA, and that what is moving through your system and your consciousness and your spirit and your soul, irrespective of what challenges show up there in that world. And you may forget, and you'll come and share stories, and boy, have I heard the stories in my day. That's what I do. But still, I remember who your divine, heavenly parent is. That God expression that is moving through you. You are that vortex, that avenue. There's something inside of you that is seeking to be activated by those aspirations, by those dreams, by those possibilities, those prayers that are stirring in your soul. And I'll tell you why they're not happening if they're not happening for you. It's because you need to pray bigger. You need to pray bolder. You got to stop praying, oh God, would you just help me make my bills this month? How exciting is that for God to answer? Well, we want bigger. You need to supersize your prayers. At least pay off your mortgage and have enough left over to share if you're praying for abundance in your life. Not, oh, let me survive this in my relationship. I want my relationship to thrive, to be juicy, to be co-creative, to be honest, intimate, and just divinely integrous with my soulmate in this world. I want you to supersize your prayers. If you want to let your light shine, you need to go big. Yeah, get off that small stuff. I get it that, so we understand this. And then there's just sometimes you just may wake up and say, is this really true, these things that we share here and we talk? I mean, is this just like a fantasy story I'm telling myself that, if I supersize and I really have this spiritual DNA, that I will shine a light and my world will shine before me and I will know where to go? I got to tell you, I don't know about that. I get that happens sometimes, that your optimistic is not even high enough to get out of your pajamas on some days, But I want to remind you that you're not the power. It is that gift that is inside of you that comes with the power, that will activate you, that will turn you on, that will reveal a light in your world. You're not the power, and you're not the light. There is something, your gift brings that power and that light into your expression. It is up to you. Your only responsibility is to get in motion with it and begin to do your gift the best that you can in that moment. And when you are feeling down, what I've noticed anyway, is that is the time you need to share what you got with what you have to share with. It's classic in the 12-step program that, the way to healing and to hope and to greater possibilities is to assist those. And when you're on the verge of like slipping back into what the challenge was to start with, to go back and to assist someone who has a little less sobriety, so you are able to share, and all of a sudden in the sharing you begin to experience the hope and the expectations and the greater strength inside of your own being. I notice that sometimes when I'm down, one of the things I'll do is go to the hospital. Go visit somebody in the hospital or go make a home visitation. And it's in that I find there is a power that comes not from me, but it comes from the gift through me, empowering me. That is how you let your light shine, is you do what you can do with what you got to do it with. You don't live in the world. You live in your story of the world. Thank you. But it's true. It really is. I mean, I was sitting this last week. I hate to admit it, but I was drinking iced tea. I was sitting there in Costco. I told the first service not to tell Callie because she doesn't like those super box stores. She's likes all this repurposing stuff. But anyway, I was sitting there, and I was sipping on my iced tea, and I don't know, in their little food area, they got all these blackbirds, man. They're picking up on the crumbs and eating off the tables and seats, and they're all over. I'm sitting there, and they're chirping and singing, and they're doing whatever birds do. And there was this one young girl, and she came kind of beep-bopping, listening to her music, and the bird was chirping. She looked at the bird and said, "Boy, you've always got a song to sing. What a beautiful song you have." And I watched somebody else. Man, he had a long, sour look on his face. He was not in a good holiday mood. You could tell. It was a pig pen kind of thing. And he looked at that bird, and one of the birds, it was a different bird, because there's a lot of them. He was chirping. He said, "Man, you always got something to complain about. You're what? Your world's never working." And then there is another person who was just filled with joy. And they said, "Boy, just the boy, you're always happy, always something going on." And then there was a guy sitting across from me on his little iPad. He was a utilities guy, just typing away, and a bird actually landed on his table. He said, "You never have time to stop, always busy, too busy to eat," as he's typing away. And you could just hear these people interacting and talking with these birds who really could care less what anybody was saying, just as long as they could get the food. But what I want us to get is that we live in our story of the world. Those birds weren't any different from one person to the next person, but there was totally different experiences for them. And when you choose to allow your gift to move through you, it will bring a power, it will bring a light, it will bring a healingness for you that you cannot deny or stop, because this is the world you have chosen to live in. There's this interview with Morgan Freeman. It says, "When you got, you get." That's my philosophy. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of like the talents guy. Why do you give it to those that have? Because that's the consciousness. When you got, you get. You get more love, you get more joy, you get more happiness, there's more trust. What is the gift when you begin to share that light? You know, when you begin to remember what it is I'm here to do and stop doing what I'm not here to do, I'll be able to do what I came to do. And when I'm doing what I came to do, that light, that power, that essence will move through you in a way that is transformative. You know the Christmas story, whether it happened or it didn't happen. I don't know if it's as relevant as its significance to us and its realness in our life today. You know, it's like the wise ones that came and traveled. How many of the wise men were there? 3, right? You know, it doesn't say that anywhere in the Bible. It's just become part of our story. You know, they followed this bright star. It didn't say bright star. It didn't say this star was brighter than any of the other stars. They followed this star. They followed this light. Is that not a beautiful metaphor? That if you follow this light, if you follow this star, this aspiration, this something that's stirring in your soul, it will lead you to the birth of something new? Oh, man, it's right. That's good. You know, but I mean, those are the stories that are put down. You know, they're told in a manger. You don't know if the manger was in the back of the hotel, it was in a cave. And you talk about the cows and the goats. It doesn't say anything about domestic animals and the cats and the dogs and the geese. You know, these are the stories that we have filled in to make the spiritual truth of a light being born. You know, it doesn't matter that there was a person that was born or that there's a light that is returning. It is a story that has been talked about from the beginning of recorded history. Is it not important to be touched by the message that is there? I mean, you look at this Christmas tree. Isn't that beautiful? What does that have to do with Christmas, you know? But I'll tell you, they've had the Yule logs thousands of years before Christianity ever accepted the Christmas story. The Christmas story was very controversial in Christianity for hundreds and hundreds of years. It was not their story. But since everybody was celebrating on the 25th, burning the Yule logs, I mean, for thousands of years, they have brought in the evergreens into the house in the winter for the hope of the new year. The story of the birth, the virgin birth. Some thought, well, maybe they stole it from the Romans and their god Saturn, you know, or it goes back to Horus. I mean, the story continues to show, but is it not the spiritual essence that matters? But if all of a sudden you get caught up in the myth and people believe this and this, it's not about the person. This light that is being born, joy to the world, is, you know what, there's a light, there's a consciousness, there's an excitement, there's a newness, there's a greater possibility that is entering into this world. And who couldn't look at a tree like that and smile and feel the joy? Is that not a good thing? So, the Gitas, there's a story that's not of our culture. But does it mean it doesn't have the spiritual truth when Krishna is teaching Arjuna that I am, meaning the God essence, that I am the beauty and beautiful? I am the strength and strong. I am the wise in wisdom. I mean, is that not a beautiful essence of a description of that which is ineffable? But if you're getting caught up in the characters involved and say, I don't want nothing to do, that's not what it's about. Can you move beyond the myth? Carl Jung said that we are continuously coming and going, meeting 1,000 different ourself in 1,000 different disguises on our path in life. In our comings and goings, we are meeting 1,000 different disguises of ourselves on the path of life. We're meeting ourselves, whether it's Arjuna, whether it is the birth of that divine consciousness. We're constantly meeting ourselves. That's coming back. Spirit is gifting you. That will give you a power and a strength and a healing and a life force. You're more than the story. You are the spiritual truth that is behind the story, and those truths seem to have woven themselves from the beginning of recorded time. So don't allow a story to stop you and keeps you from celebrating that something that makes people smile and filled with joy and want to sing and stand up, because there's joy in the world. There's a light that has come to the world. It's the Savior is not a person. It is a consciousness that is emerging in this time. You bet I'm up on my feet cheering that on. You know, you'll run into maybe the challenges along the way. You know? And I listen to people say, yeah, But, I hear this excitement and all this stuff that's going on and these possibilities. But, Christian, the possibilities don't usually seem to work out for me. What is it? I got to tell you, I hear that in class all the time. I hear it in counseling. I got these possibilities and they don't pan out. What's up? And it's as if they're waiting on bated breath for me to tell them that there was this deep, dark wound from their childhood that just messed them up, and that if they bankroll some high-priced healer in Taos or Santa Fe, New Mexico, that they would be healed. But all I ever say to that question is, what would life be like without possibilities? It's part of life. I've been doing this thing here for a lot of years, and I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of possibilities. Some have panned out, some have not worked out. But I'll tell you the thing about possibility: as you chase it down and you move in a particular direction for it, it may not happen that way, but it has always moved me to somewhere else. It has moved me closer to what is next for me in my life. And if I'm holding on to the story on how I think it was supposed to be and forget that it doesn't matter what the situation or the character looks like, but it is the spiritual truth that is moving me down the street, lighting the light and believing that there's something greater that is going to come forth if I choose to have that be my story, as opposed to my possibilities never work out for me. You get to live in your story. Life is filled with possibilities, and as you follow them, they are going to move you down the field. And there's something the wonderful mystic Catherine of Siena said. She said that all the way to heaven is heaven. All the way. Everything on that path is part of it for you. But you're the one who has to embrace that story and realize this is what's going on is an opportunity for me to bring forth my life. This week Hanukkah begins, and it's just an amazing testimony and story that there's one day of oil left to light that temple, and the oppression is coming in, and what is it going to do? We can't let that light go out, and it ended up lasting for 8 days until the fresh press of oil came forth. But once again, there is a possibility, there's an aspiration, there is a vision, there is a belief that says, keep it lit, keep it going. Spirit's going to work out here. I'm not going to give up the hope here, but there is something greater that is seeking to emerge itself here, and I refuse to let that light go out. My job is to light that light with the hope, with the possibilities, to add my prayers. When a situation of difficulty or possibility shows up, you've heard my perspective on that. It's ASAP. Well, boy, I forgot what that is. So much for that one. And I remember, it came in. ASAP is always speak a prayer. That's it. ASP. Always speak a prayer. Always connect with that life force. And when I'm speaking a prayer, I'm not speaking outside of myself. It's told, I have not because I have asked not. And what it says is, and when you ask, I will give you nations as inheritance. You got that? That's pretty good. That's why I'm telling you to supersize your prayer here. Because you're coming from your limited perspective. When you become that conduit and that avenue for that expression of Spirit to have its way, what begins to emanate through you is something that is greater than. But you just give me a little bit. I'll tell you what, if a pond dried up or somewhat, and you found a fish lying on the parched dirt, and you picked that fish up, and you blew into it, gave it a little breath, maybe spit on it a little bit. That's no substitute for throwing it back in the water. That's what our little prayers are, That's where I'm coming from. Just a little bit. Let me just survive this situation. Give me 8 days of light and I'm good. How about eternity of light and love from an inexhaustible source? That is what happens when you get thrown back into that divine Spirit. And you only know that through experience. I can tell you, you can teach a child and tell a child how to cross the street, but there's a big difference when you take his hand and walk him and teach him about the light and cars and you cross the street, right? You come to know that divine presence of God through the possibilities or those opportunities or those challenges that present themselves because you begin to just speak that prayer. You begin to speak it as soon as possible, that prayer that is in your heart and within your soul that will allow you to move down that field. And as you move, you know, you want to move farther and faster. They say the best way to move further and faster is to travel light. Right? You want to be light if you want to get moving down that path. And how do you get light? You let go of the burdens, the baggage, the resentments, the bitterness, the pains, the history, and all that old stuff, because that is what is keeping you from being light. And as you begin to be light, you begin to have those possibilities show up in your world because you are praying on those and connecting with your source, with your spiritual DNA, your divine heavenly Father, Mother, God. That is the truth of my being, and I am that conduit, and your good is going to manifest in your life. You will be shown the way because there will be light. And I have people say, oh, Christian, you know, that sounds good. I just don't think I can believe that stuff. And I'll say, fine, don't believe it. But this is for believers. This is for those who know that the Spirit of God is upon them, the Spirit of the Lord is upon them, that they've been made in the image of the likeness of the Almighty. And you know what? And my way may just be a little different than your way. And your way may just be a little different than your way. And it doesn't make one way right or one way wrong. It is your unique expression of the light and the gift that is coming into your world. There was a couple, and the wife was sharing with her partner and said, you know what, honey, I've been married a long time, and I just really wish you could cook. Frank's a real good cook. I wish you could just cook like Frank, because what happens, you can't even do your own laundry. Frank does laundry really well. What would happen if I were to die and you were to be left alone and you couldn't cook and you couldn't do your laundry and these other things? What would you do? And he thought about it and said, I'd move in with Frank. There are always answers outside your story, outside your scope. But you do have to believe, and you've got to believe that, the power comes, the light comes by saying yes to the gift. It is not you who's putting the power in the gift, it is the gift that empowers you, because what is in that gift, what is in that light is far greater than the individual. There was a wonderful professor, her name was Brenda Ehart. And in the 90s, she was a sociology professor, and she was involved in social services, and she watched the foster kids, how short of time they stayed in foster homes and how they continued to be moved year after year to a different home, a different situation. She wanted to do something about that, and people said the system's too big, too broad, there's really not much that can be done. And what she ended up doing is she got $1 million grant from the government. And she didn't know anybody in Washington. She had no political connection. She knew nothing on really how to do it right. But there was a decommissioned Air Force base in Illinois, and she was able to take that $1 million and purchase a full neighborhood there. And she started a place called Hope Meadows. And in Hope Meadows, what she did is she took the elderly who were having their difficulties, brought them in, and partnered them with young foster kids and created homes and residential areas. So there were 100 families living in this Hope Meadows neighborhood in Illinois. And all of a sudden, these kids stayed in the home, went on to graduate, and if they were adopted, it was a 90% rate of adoption into permanent families. And it became such a model that across the nation to this day, they are modeling it after Hope Meadows, that this sociology professor really didn't know what she was doing, but there was a gift, there was something inside of her stirring, that in 2007 she was taken to the White House and honored for the model that she had brought to our country. You've got to believe. You've got to believe that it's not you. What it is, it's moving through you. You got that difference? I hear people say, they listen to a protege and said, this is Mozart reincarnated. I think, maybe. I wouldn't say no. But what I tend to notice, since there's been maybe a few Mozarts reincarnated lately, that there is a frequency of consciousness that is just genius in music that Mozart plugged into. But it wasn't solely Mozart. It was a man by the name of Mozart who plugged into that. And he became that conduit and that avenue through which that genius of music came through, as well as these kids who plugged into that. listened to people say, this person's another Einstein reincarnated in this world. Maybe. But you know what? I believe there is a dimension or a frequency or a wave of consciousness that is that creative genius that a man by the name of Albert plugged into that allowed him to be this brilliant mind that is available for you to plug into. You follow me on this? You know, so that consciousness that was a Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, a Martin Luther King, it was like we don't need another one reincarnated. What we need is you, if that is your call, to tune into that frequency of consciousness that these individuals tune into. That is what is available for you. I'm going to take it one step further with our teaching, and let's talk about this guy by the name of Jesus. Here was a man who tapped into a frequency of consciousness that was so connected with the ultimate that we call it a Christ consciousness. And it wasn't the man, it wasn't the person. There is a consciousness of absolute connectedness, that there is no sense of otherness, that we will call the Christ consciousness, that this guy Jesus said, you know what I can do? You can do it too. He was the first to tell you that. It wasn't exclusive to him. And so what's exciting about this time of the year, what I sing with joy, is that there is this Christ consciousness seeking to birth itself through you. But you got to supersize your prayers. You got to deepen your meditation. You got to step into that divine wavelength called the Christ consciousness and be that place for it to show up in this world, because we need you right now to do that. And so for that to happen, you've got to break the myth that has held you bound. You've got to free yourself from the belief that are these childhood pains brought up in a sorrowful, dysfunctional kind of family. You've got to stop talking about that wounded child and begin to talk about the child of the innocent child that you are, that child of innocence that you are, that child of light that you are, that child that has this rapturous song that has to be sung, that is uniquely yours, that is a divine expression that is seeking to move through you. It is a power, it is a light that will transform, and what you must do is give it the space in which to move into your life. And when you become that place where it touches down, it will sever, it will singe the cords to the past, it will undo that which has got you tethered in the little prayers and the littleness and the thinking that it's got to be like this, and open up to the grandeur. It is moving through your system, and it's not the DNA in your bloodstream. It is your spiritual DNA. It is not because you got in the right childhood atmosphere or because you were born tall and good looking. It is because it is in your spiritual DNA, and you have been put here for a time such as this, and you have got to free yourself from the past. You've got to let yourself believe more in your spirit than in your ghosts. So this is a time of light. This is a time for you to let your light shine, and it will put before you where it is you are to step next. It will put before you the possibilities that may or may not be the ultimate destination of where you're going, but by God, it will move you toward that which you are here to do in a grand and greater way. And know that it takes everything you've got to say yes to that which wants to move through you. It is knocking, but you are the one who must answer. You are the one who must say yes to the stirring of your soul. And this time of the year is a story that is about your story. It's not about Horus and 5,000 years ago and its virgin birth. It is a story about you today and that light that is seeking to birth itself in your world, that immaculate birth. It doesn't matter how you have messed up or how confused you have been. It is right now in this moment. It is knocking on your soul and saying, let me out, let me out. And I'm saying, when you do, I'm going to be blessed as well as the world in which we live. God bless you as you do. Hey, let's keep it going. Let's bring Janice and Nathan back to our stage.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Oh, here we are as in olden days. Happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star above the highest bough. Have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, they gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star above the highest bough. Hang a shining star. And have yourself a merry little Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Oh, have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Seaside. We love you guys.
Janice Edwards, Nathan Fry, touching our hearts and souls for years and years. Wow, 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 wow. I love it. Hey, you know, this is the time of our service where we pause every week and say, hey, how has Spirit been touching you? You know, together we have been able to create this wonderful spiritual family, this spiritual community that has journeyed through the years. We have watched the faces change, but the spirit and the heart and the soul and the joy of what this family is has continued to just laugh and applaud and sing and have a glorious time. And it's moments like this for years that we've just paused for who is present, say, it's our opportunity to support Spirit's work that shows up as Seaside is this space. And so I invite you to listen to your heart and realize that, what is yours to participate and give here, go ahead and do that. Are you able to move beyond that questioning mind and listen to your heart and say yes? Because as you say yes to that which stirs in you, that is what you got, and that's what you get. And so this is a time to see that which is beyond words. This is the time to say this is not how you cross the street, but show this is the way in which it's done. So with that, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward at this time. Say thank you to this wonderful crew. Thank you to those that mail in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday. It is greatly appreciated because we do have the regular obligations and responsibilities. And heartfelt appreciation to those that are part of the Auto Tithe program, that regular systematic support that comes from your world into Seaside's Pledge program this year has brought more individuals involved with that and is truly beneficial and helpful to us. So I thank you for that. I thank everybody. It's in this moment I stand with a great deal of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that the blessings of the divine unfolds right here, right now, in ways that are ever increasing as our very experience and very life. For as we say yes to God in that stirring of the possibility, what we find is it takes us to that next plate, so that the light continues to move and it continues to move, and we begin to do what we've come here to do and stop doing what we're not here to do, because the blessings of the divine lifts each of us ever higher and allows the light of our being to shine for those around us to see and to know and to believe that there is someone who is walking in alignment with the abundance of Spirit. For that affluent flow is the natural state. One cannot outgive God. And so in this moment, as you choose to be God in that abundant expression from that infinite, inexhaustible reservoir, you are not only that conduit, you are that divine prospering emanation. You are that frequency of that affluent flow of all those that have touched the abundance level and consciousness. It is in this moment that you say yes, for which to flow through you, that you find it flowing in ever-increasing ways. And for this, I say thank you. Thank you for the words we've shared, that they're the truth, that they're manifesting at the individual level. And that richness is what is felt. That security is what is felt. There's a peace that is felt that is not dependent upon anyone, anything, any employer, but really just a sense that I live in that wonderful wave and vibration of Spirit. And there is always enough. And so it is. Together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now.
Stockings hanging on the wall. Mama's gonna make some popcorn balls. See that stove is turning red. Mama's gonna bake some gingerbread. People, it's Christmas time. Come on, Santa, it's Christmas time. The bells are jingling. It's Christmas time. See that mouse running down the hall? He ain't got no sense at all. Hear those bells? Hear those chimes? I'm letting you know it's Christmas time. People, it's Christmas time. Come on, Santa, it's Christmas time. The bells are jingling. It's Christmas time. Saw Santa Claus on his sleigh with a bag full of goodies, and it sure ain't hay. Children laughing, people singing, Down on the corner, the bells are jingling. Santa, it's Christmas time. Come on, people, it's Christmas time.
That's Hollis Hassel there singing to us. Woo! There you go. Hey, as I stand before this bounty, I can feel the love. I can feel the wellspring. I can feel the generosity. I can feel that Spirit touching down in the individual lives of our spiritual family. For truly the blessings of God finds relevant ways to express as our individual experience and moves in our world in ways that are right and perfect and divine. Grateful to stand before this outpouring of love and support of God's work. I know right now that God's work finds expression in our individual lives. So grateful for this collective community's gift. It is handled in good stewardship. It's sent forth back out into the world in those ways that are right. I just say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to be part of this joyous, abundant circulation of good. And so it is. Amen. All right. This is Bill Siemens, your board president. And oh my goodness, Nathan, Janice, you guys are fabulous. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. Woo! And Rebecca, you are looking as joyous for the holidays as one could get. Thank you for sparkling from the inside out. And speaking of music, nice job there. There's Lynn on the keyboards, Bob there on the saxophone. That is Tom on the bass. That is Hollis there on the drums. And I just got to mention here, you guys have heard me often mention about the Paul Lloyd Warner piano. Well, I want you to know the generous individual, Paul Lloyd Warner, who gave us this $100,000 handcrafted Vienna Bulsendorfer, is with us today. Paul, you want to stand up just so we can love you a little bit? And he is definitely one of those that tapped into that Mozart genius and consciousness. And he never called it Mozart, we called it Paul. So, anyway, Dr. Christine, a joy to share Sundays with you. Always bless you for the holiday gifts you're bringing our community. Thank you, Ed, for giving us the visuals. No, you gave us the sound. Marv gave us the visuals. Know that there's CDs available right after the service. Timothy, thank you for live streaming this for the world. More and more people every week are part of that. I think there's over 140 that automatically get it tuned on to their computer at 11 o'clock every week, so that's fun to hear about. There's a lot going on at Seaside. Like Wednesday night, you heard that Reverend Sunshine and her partner Sunny. It's their last Wednesday night service. They've been driving up here for 2 years from Long Beach in the midst of rush hour, sharing their gifts. And so this Wednesday, we're loving them on. We're just having a potluck afterwards. So come be part of that if you would like to. Also, Saturday, you've heard about the wonderful Seaside Sisters getting together and their wonderful just care to share and repurposing that's going on. Sunday night is the excitement of the drumming. That's powerful. I'll probably tell you more about that next week. But there'll be 250 people here just in that rhythm, bringing in the light of the new year. Definitely a powerful experience. And so is the 23rd, the candlelight service. We'll have every seat in that we can find filled. It's like sitting around the fireplace and doing family holiday songs and singings and gifts. But I'll give you just a taste. Our kids always do the Jingle Bells with Carl Anthony there, but they got a special number for us this year. So Kathy, I know you've been working with them. What gift do our kids have? You talk about pure love and gifting. Here you go. No. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle. And so I share this prayer. I invite any of our spiritual practitioners to stand and just feel that joy of our children singing and feel the heart in its lightness. And how can that just not be divine? How can that be anything but the heavenly presence touching down within the heart and the soul? It is not based upon myths or personalities. It is truly the essence, the divine. And it is in that life force that heals. It is that life force that transforms. For I stand in this revelation just speaking as Spirit would speak the absolute truth for each and every one is a sense of wholeness, a sense of well-being, living with a sense of trust and knowing that Spirit has taken care of all that lies before us, that those possibilities come with the perfect passage to the greater yet to be. And I know for each and every one of us there's a courage, there's a faith, there's a conviction, and there is an inner strength that comes from a revitalized cellular level of one's being, that spiritual DNA that has been activated because I know who your God, heavenly parents are, and it is the absolutely Spirit, that Father, Mother, presence of God that knows how to heal. And so if there's anything in your world that feels less than light, full, that is filled with anything less than an ease and a grace, know that this is the divine moment where the fulfillment of God has its way in our individual expression, and the Spirit is touching down, healing, making right, making the crooked way straight, bringing the abundance that is necessary, honoring the consciousness that is there, uplifting and knowing that truly the blessings of the divine is upon this moment. I'm grateful to stand as a witness to this, knowing every prayer and our prayer request chest is answered, that Seaside continues to grow, it continues to thrive, it continues to be an abundant expression of living in the enoughness of the divine presence of God. And so I let go of any concerns. I let go of these words that I've spoken because they're not my words. It is not my will, but it is the divine will and divine right action that places itself here and now as our personal experience. And so I let go, trusting in something greater than the individual, something greater than the mind can grasp. That wisdom that is the wise. It is the strength and the strong. It is the beauty and the beautiful. It is the essence itself that I let go and I trust, I surrender, and allow Spirit to absolutely have its way in this divine moment as my life. And so it is.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. Come on. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Seaside, sing it, y'all. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah.
And our affirmation is, I let my light shine for the world to see. Together, I let my light shine for the world to see. Touch your heart and say that again. I let my light shine for the world to see it. One more time like you really mean it. I let my light shine for the world to see. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love, I'm living in peace, I'm living my life for what I believe, through joys and through fears. In this world I walk, God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor our truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in Have a great week, everybody.